awful lot of gumption. This guy was in jail 2 months earlier, and he's thinking about working for the president. But it tells you something about the opportunities of this nation, and it tells you something about the opportunities in Wyoming. And because of the wonders of the internet, I was able to go back and get the speech that Kennedy made that day, go back and look at what he said. And the words that he spoke that morning, I just want to read you a sentence. He said, "I hope that all of you who are students here will recognize the great opportunity that lies before you in this decade and the decades to come to be of service to our country." And those are words that my dad really took to heart. Now, also because of the wonders of the internet, I was able to figure out that when he left here, Kennedy went to Salt Lake. So 46 years ago today, he was speaking in the Mormon Tabernacle in Salt Lake. And that speech you can actually hear. You can hear the audio of that speech. And my dad and I listened to it together a couple of weeks ago. And that speech is important because it is such a strong and vigorous and unashamed defense of America, coming from the Democratic president. But Kennedy talks in that speech about the greatness of the nation. He talks about how important it is for America to be willing to work our will on the world. He talks about how we should never step aside, how we should never back down from the defense of our allies. And it occurred to me, listening to that speech, that it's a speech that President Obama ought to take some time to read. President Kennedy ended that speech by saying, "We cannot fulfill our vision and our commitment and our interest in a free future without unceasing vigilance, devotion, and most of all, perseverance." Now, if you contrast that with what you hear from President Obama these days, which time and time and time again, the first couple of times I listened to him refuse to correct lies about America that were stated in his presence, refused to take opportunities to stand up and defend us, I thought, maybe he's just new at this and he'll figure it out, But it's now been too many times, too many moments when he's failed to do it, that there's something seriously wrong with his view of the world, in my opinion. And I think it's something that's very concerning for anybody who cares about this nation. The most recent example of this, or not the most recent, but one of the most egregious, was when he was in Mexico City. And President Ortega delivered just this hour-long, venomous screed full of lies about America. And President Obama sat there and listened to it. And then when it was done, he stood up, and the only response he had was to say, "At least President Ortega didn't blame me for things that happened when I was 3 months old." Now, there's a notion that somehow this is all about President Obama. And you heard it again this